Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Stories of the Head and the Heart with Maurice
and Tracy. What are we talking about today?
Well, I think we should talk about what's in a story. Like, why do we tell stories?
Why do we tell stories? That's a good one. Yeah, storytelling. I didn't realize how impactful it is until I started just being like totally authentic with the stuff that goes on in my life and noticing the impact it has on other people when you just be real and share what's happening. That feeling of that connection that happens, that moment when someone's like, oh, me too, it's so powerful. So even though it might feel really uncomfortable for me sometimes to be like, that's hard, or that felt weird, or I feel a little vulnerable telling the stories, it's you see that response and you're like, oh, that there was a human connection. That was a moment.
So some of my favorite stories are vulnerable stories, because I think there's like the more vulnerable the story, the more opportunity for deeper connection can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever almost seen like going down a stairwell?
Yes.
Of like, hey, what about this? And then the other person responds with something really similar, and you could it's almost playing like a game of story chicken. Where you can get really deep and really interesting
story chicken
stories.
Yeah,
that's a good game. I'm gonna totally challenge someone to story chicken.
Story chicken, who could be the most vulnerable in their real stories. Yeah, it's sharing stories. I mean, you think about it, cultures have been doing it forever. That's how history used to get passed down, was through the art of storytelling.
Share a culture. The other thing that I was thinking was, and Dr. Doug would love this, I think there's a gift in stories and processing emotion.
Right, just be able to put words to an event that happened and then to experience it after the fact, outside of the fact.
I felt kind of, when I thought of that thought, I had more appreciation for some stories that sometimes I don't have much appreciation for. Because sometimes I'm like, this doesn't have a point, so why are we here?
And this is a story that's at the top of we're not that far down.
But people just might be processing, and I don't sometimes respect that fully, so.
Oh,
I made that
interesting real-time revelation.
Little note.
There, check that box. Yeah, storytelling is just it's so important, and you don't actually realize. So, when you think about storytelling as just a phrase, it doesn't quite land as it's really sharing. It's really showing up with all of yourself without your Instagram face and without your, the facade of everything is great all the time, or it's being able to just show up as you and share it.
And if you think of you, what are we? We're the sum
of our stories.
Of all of our stories.
Yep. So it's why do you act that way? Well, I've got a story actually that kind of led me to behave that way, or believe that thing, or to feel that way about this event. There's always a story behind everything.
Anything else you want to say about stories?
I think that sharing stories is just super important. That's why we do Mo Mondays.
Mo Mondays. So if someone wants to share their story with us on the Mo Mondays stage, they can apply to do that at www.momondays.com.
Yep. And just think about a story is basically why do you do what you do, and what did you get through, and what are you about, and why do you believe what you believe, and what are you passionate about, and what lights you up. A story is anything. It's not some massive needs to be on the news type story. It's anything that created you. And so if you've got a story that someone else might connect to and go, oh, me too, that really helps me. We really encourage you to share it on the Mo Monday stage. You can comment below on our stories anytime.
And it is the holidays, so if you find yourself sitting around the kitchen table or the fire or the couch or whatever it may be, play a game of Story Chicken and see where it goes.
Story Chicken.
That's my holiday challenge. And tell us how it goes.